Yesterday I was telling the story of the building and how the people went and put money and all of that. Do you know what we did after the faith encouragement time I had from Brother Sheila? Went to that space and started to pray. And I began to pray prayers like this. Because God has told me, how can you come to me and tell me that the space I gave you, you can't take? And so I went over there and began to call the address of that space. And I said, you exist every name that is not called reaching the nations. You exist every secret or every government whatsoever, which is not reaching the nations ministry. If I don't sign, nobody signs. You exist that name. And that's to their name. Hallelujah. I began to walk. This faith is mine. Amen. I am not asking your opinion, devil. I have business over here. I don't care who put their money. Money begin to call them, make them uncomfortable. Oh, hallelujah. I began to say they shall not sleep. Let them be uncomfortable until they withdraw their money. In the name of Jesus. And it's my spirit.
You must give. Huh?
And I began to walk. And I drove around that space. I said, you belong to me. Do you hear me? I'm talking to you. You need to be talking to some things like that. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Hallelujah. Your children are not playing. All they do is come back home drunk. You start speaking to their pillows. Pillow! When people are in bed upon you, some years back, I believe this was in 2004, either 2003 or 2004. I came to get him. That was the very first year Brother Joshua came here, right? 2004. I believe so. Joshua, 2004. I believe so. And I came here after he left. I think he was with camp or so, and he had gone. I was dealing with some things in my life. These voices that keep telling me you cannot. So I was dealing with some things, and I remember, the bitches remember this guy. It would be amazing if you do. That day, I came here in the morning, we had prayers in the morning, and she said some things about the money. I'm like, I need to ask this woman something. And so she went over to the kitchen, and I came over there. Do you remember that? So I went over there, and I asked her some very serious questions. And she answered it. So I knew I had to take charge of some of these thoughts. And many of you do have. So this is what I began to do. Listen, you have one crazy person you can do. I'll show you one of the crazy things. Having dealt with limitations, I began to practice breaking limitations. If I enter a bank, or go to the airport, or a hotel, or any of those places that have bells, that show you how you're supposed to go. And then I put it out. To tell the belt that I can do it. Right now, you cannot tell me something cannot be done. All things are possible. Everything can be done. Even a man can become pregnant if he wants. All things are possible. A virgin gives birth. Yes. All things are possible. 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 You can pass that exam. Oh, all things are possible. Do everything you have to do and train your mind. Tell your mind XYZ is not accessible. I can eat you and you and you. Period. Hallelujah. And so I spoke to that space and I called the agent. I said, let's talk to you. That space is ours. And it's not an option. And in case you think I'm going to tell my people otherwise, you're wasting time. He said, well, you know. I said, I want you to just know the space is ours. So if you are my agent, you need to go get me that space. A few hours later he calls. And he says, it looks like we can work something out. I said, it's not working something out. It is our space. We have the space. At about 5, he got the phone at about 5, he called. He said, it looks like this thing is going to go through. Could you bring the paperwork? When can we meet? The next day we meet at the office. My office. We meet in there and we talk. And he takes the paperwork. He says, you know what? I'm going to fill it out myself. And I'm going to give it to them. Give him the check, everything. And then I was checking and noticed, the check went through. So my faith has come to me. All things are possible. 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 All things are possible.